why would these young people in 1975 feel so passionate? Students in the 20s, with the right kind of issue before them that they take ownership on, it can happen.
We thought that getting together in an organized way would be one way to make change in our communities for the better.
So the law students would go into a lot of the senior centers, a lot of the meal sites, and they would serve the people by serving meals to the people. And as they were serving meals to the senior community, they would talk to them about their legal issues, and that was sort of the origin of NLO.
At San Francisco State, I had met a couple of attorneys from this firm. They were on campus organizing around the draft. I was just really impressed and amazed to meet Asian American attorneys.
We were at the end of the anti-war movement. We were at the tail end of the civil rights movement, the move toward ethnic studies and affirmative action in higher education.
People of color were starting to be able to get into professional schools, including law schools.
And I just thought the law would be a more powerful tool to serve the community.
No one was really taking advantage of whatever legal protections might be available. We worked at senior centers, we worked at youth centers, we worked with newcomers groups.
When we go to the community and speak, they like that. We used to do outreach where we do skits. You know, we didn't just like talk at them, or we performed. And we performed, and they really liked it. They're applauding, they get the message, and they'll remember you.
Dean Ito Taylor and Ernest Liu, who were also the first two staff people at APILO, invited us to lunch. To our surprise, Dean said, "For every woman that comes into your shelter, we're going to be their legal representation." So that every Asian woman that came to our shelter escaping domestic violence, sexual abuse, and human trafficking got their legal representation.
They're a founding member of the consortium, so when I came over 14 years ago, I knew that they would have a role to play.
So we were not going to be leaders just because we were lawyers. We were going to provide services in partnership with other agencies that were better at what they did than we could be.
I think we were one of the first programs in the nation that really had this joint interconnection between legal advocacy and domestic violence, shelter-based advocacy. That is a powerful team for any survivor.
10 or so years ago, there was a shift as we changed our name from Nihonmachi Legal Outreach, a Japantown-based organization, to Asian Pacific Islander Legal Outreach to reflect the broader Asian American community that we were serving at the time.
Our clients are not just APIs, they're across the board.
I think with the crisis around unaccompanied minors coming from Central America, we've again responded to hire both Spanish-speaking attorneys as well as Latina attorneys.
APILO has always had just excellent staff. It has an excellent reputation.
They started out with 3 or 4 people, and now we have almost 30 people on staff. So.
It has a great variety of services that it provides to its clients, and it really tries to think of clients as whole people, which is how people think of themselves. And so there's the social services aspect, there's the legal services aspect, combined with this whole notion of trying to provide social justice advocacy. All of that is important. It's really great to have an organization that looks at services in that holistic way.
I think APILO is one of the few organizations that is speaking out citywide on issues and policies, but from a very grounded perspective. Every person on staff, from our executive director down, spends the majority of their time working with clients.
And the last few years, language access and immigration have been our top priorities because we've really learned from watching our brothers and sisters at APILO and other places that language access and immigration and age issues, both for seniors and youth, are key issues in domestic violence.
One of the most pivotal moments was when we decided to take a lead on the legal front in the support for marriage equality. Sort of in response to a rally that had been organized by the Chinese churches against marriage equality. And so we were part of the original organizing team for the San Francisco chapter of API Equality. We drafted the first amicus brief and convinced 20 plus organizations to sign on to the brief in support of marriage equality and sort of defining in terms of the history of Asian Americans.
We just see clients come in from a place of fear. I've worked a lot with domestic violence victims, a lot with people who really are terrified about their immigration status and what the loss of that status could mean for them and their families.
We have a mayor or two that are API. We have, heads of corporations and highly educated tech workers. And so we're getting this false sense that everything is fine.
The city is changing. I think a lot of its citizens or residents are going to be, needing more help.
We benefit from the diversity and the growth of our communities, and that's all great, but at the same time, we're losing sight of the folks that we're leaving behind, and we will not let people be left behind.